Hi everyone, I'm Kelly. I'm really glad to be here and share a little bit about my journey and why this work means so much to me. I was adopted into a white family in Canada just before I turned 4. I grew up as the youngest and the only girl in my family in a community where almost everyone around me was white. For most of my childhood, I didn't see many other Asians at all. Then in the 90s, when more Koreans started moving into the area, I suddenly became much more aware of how different I looked from the people around me. I remember being asked very intrusive and personal questions when I was young. I was unprepared and too young to know how to answer those questions. My family often didn't know how to respond either. It made navigating those two worlds, my adoptive life and my Korean identity, feel complicated and pretty lonely sometimes. My mom used to tell me stories about my early life, about being abandoned and found with only my name and birth date. But the official records didn't match what she'd been told. And instead of digging deeper, I pushed it all away. I focused on fitting in, on being normal, and blending into a Western culture as best I could. It wasn't until my mid-30s that I finally stopped and asked myself, what's actually true about my story? That's when everything started to shift. The more I tried to access my own records in Korea, the more roadblocks I ran into. And that brought up a mix of everything: gratitude, anger, sadness, hope, all of it. The fear set in that my origin story was a lie. My family's been told a negative narrative about my story. It was all untrue. At 49, I finally traveled back to South Korea and later did an interview with the Canadian broadcast network CBC. New pieces of information came out, pieces that didn't line up with what my family had been told originally growing up. These experiences were tough, but they also opened my eyes. They made it clear that many adoptees are left trying to piece together their lives without honest and accurate information. That's why I started the Canadian Korean Adoptee Rights Group, CKRG, under the KRG umbrella. I wanted Canadian adoptees to have a place so they could access real information, share their stories, and be part of a broader global conversation about truth, accountability, and adoptee rights. And joining USKRG felt like the right next steps. It gave me a chance to work with more adoptees who are just as committed to change and supporting one another. My hope moving forward is simple: that every adoptee has access to their real history and that they feel empowered to reclaim their identity and culture, and that the systems that failed so many of us become more transparent, more accountable, and more focused on the lifelong well-being of adoptees. Thanks for being here, and I'm really looking forward to continuing this work and this healing with all of you.